In the vast archives of the SCP Foundation, there are thousands of objects that defy explanation, monsters that cannot die, rooms that do not exist. But occasionally we find something different. We find a tool, a weapon, a piece of technology so advanced it implies a version of the Foundation far more dangerous than the one we know. Today, we are not talking about a monster. We aren't talking about the end of the world, at least not directly. We are focusing on the object itself, item number SCP-5000. While the file is famous for the story contained within it, the journal of Pietro Wilson, we often overlook the vessel that made that story possible, the suit, identified in its schematics as the Absolute Exclusion Harness. How did a single piece of tactical gear allow one man to walk across a continent ravaged by anomalous warfare? How does it feed its wearer without food? How does it render a user invisible to the most advanced detection systems on Earth? And most importantly, what does its existence tell us about the technological ceiling of the SCP Foundation? Buckle up, we are doing a deep dive into the engineering, classification, and anomalous capabilities of the SCP-5000 suit. Let's start with the hard data. Upon recovery, the object designated SCP-5000 is officially classified as safe. Now don't let that fool you. In Foundation terminology, safe merely refers to containment difficulty. The suit is inanimate. It doesn't move on its own, and as long as no one puts it on, it sits quietly in a storage unit at Site-22. Physically, the suit is described as a non-functional mechanical suit. The recovery team identified it based on internal schematics found within the suit's own corrupted hard drive. The design philosophy of the Absolute Exclusion Harness is total isolation. It is a sealed system. When we look at the recovery logs, we see that the suit is capable of operating independently of external resources for an indefinite amount of time. The suit is built for a human operator, specifically sized for an adult male, though it appears to possess adaptive fitting technology. When Pietro Wilson, the technician who discovered the suit in the alternate timeline, first donned it, he wasn't a soldier, he was an IT guy, yet the suit interfaced with him instantly. This suggests the harness was designed not just for specialized MTF operatives, but potentially for general staff or VIP evacuation. It is a plug-and-play survival system. But the most chilling detail, the schematics confirm it was designed by the SCP Foundation. This isn't alien tech. This isn't from the GOC or the Church of the Broken God. We built this, or rather a version of us did. And the crown jewel of this technology is the exclusion feature. The name Absolute Exclusion Harness is not poetic, it is literal. The suit's primary defense mechanism is often mistaken for invisibility, but it is actually something far more complex and far more effective. It utilizes a perception filter. Invisibility is optical, it bends light. If you are invisible, you can still be detected by thermal imaging, sonar, or by bumping into someone. The exclusion harness works on a cognitive level. It doesn't just hide you, it forces the universe to ignore you. We see this capability tested to its limit in the logs. At one point, Pietro is standing directly in front of a squad of Foundation soldiers, specifically MTF Epsilon 6, the village idiots. Their commander is checking for intruders. The commander physically walks down the line, stabbing the air to find invisible spies. The commander stabs Pietro. The knife connects. It hits the armor. But the commander's brain refuses to acknowledge the resistance. He pulls the knife back and moves on. This is the exclusion principle. The suit emits an anti-mimetic field that dissociates the wearer's presence from the observer's information processing. Visual input. The eye sees the suit, but the brain discards the image as background noise. Auditory input. The suit likely dampens sound, but even if a noise is made, it is dismissed as ambient environmental sound. Physical contact. As we saw with the knife, even tactile feedback is ignored. This technology allows the user to walk through active war zones, sit in secure transport vehicles alongside enemy troops, and infiltrate high-security containment sites like Site-19 without triggering alarms. It effectively removes the user from the collective consciousness of those around them. You aren't hidden, you are simply excluded. But stealth is only half the battle. The SCP-5000 timeline involved a months-long journey across a devastated world. Pietro Wilson was not a survivalist. He didn't hunt, and he rarely scavenged. So, how did he stay alive? The suit possesses an advanced, likely anomalous life support system. Throughout the logs, Pietro notes that he doesn't feel hungry or thirsty. The suit provides intravenous nutrient injection or some form of metabolic stasis. It recycles moisture and waste with 100% efficiency. Even more impressive is the medical repair capability. Before putting on the suit, Pietro had a bad knee from an old injury. During his journey, he realizes the pain is gone. The suit didn't just brace the injury, it actively repaired the tissue. This implies the harness is equipped with an onboard medical suite, capable of performing surgery or rapid cellular regeneration on the fly. It keeps the occupant in peak physical condition, regardless of their prior health. It turns a civilian technician into an endurance runner capable of crossing the American Midwest on foot. It acts as a second skin, a bunker, and a hospital, all in one. Perhaps the most critical feature of the Absolute Exclusion Harness is its ability to protect the user's mind. In the SCP-5000 scenario, the Foundation releases a mimetic agent that cures humanity of empathy, effectively turning their staff into cold-blooded killers. Pietro, however, remains unaffected. Why? Because the exclusion harness isolates the user from mimetic and cognitive hazards. Just as the world cannot perceive the user is shielded from the anomalous influences of the world. The suit's HUD likely filters visual hazards, scrambling kill agents before they reach the user's retina. This brings us to the suit's secondary function, the black box. The suit records everything: audio, video, biometric data, and environmental readings. Despite the heavy damage the suit sustained before appearing in our timeline, the data core remained intact. This storage capacity is immense, holding months of high-fidelity logs. The suit also appears to possess a semi-autonomous intelligence or a mission directive protocol. It translated signs for Pietro. It highlighted objectives. At times, Pietro describes a feeling of being guided by the suit, suggesting the onboard AI was subtly influencing his dopamine receptors to keep him moving toward SCP-579. Let's talk durability. While the perception filter is the main defense, the armor is no slouch. Pietro survives close proximity to nuclear detonations, reality-bending anomalies, and the total collapse of civilization. The suit regulates temperature, protecting the user from the harsh nuclear winter described in the later logs. However, it is not invincible. The perception filter has limits. We know that certain entities, specifically the blinkers, modified versions of SCP-173 used as soldiers, were eventually able to detect Pietro. This suggests that while the suit works on human psychology, creatures with different sensory inputs or anomalous perception can bypass the exclusion effect. Furthermore, when the suit takes enough physical damage, the stealth functions fail. By the time Pietro reaches Site-62C, the suit is failing. It's battered, the exclusion field is flickering, but it holds together just long enough to deliver the payload. The Absolute Exclusion Harness is a technological marvel. It combines perfect stealth, indefinite life support, medical regeneration, and cognitive shielding into a single wearable unit. It transforms a single, untrained human into a ghost, an entity that can witness the death of the universe and survive to tell the tale. The existence of SCP-5000, the suit itself, serves as a grim reminder. The Foundation possesses the blueprints to create the ultimate soldier. In our timeline, this suit sits in a locker, classified as safe, a deactivated relic of a future that never happened. But the schematics are there, the technology is understood, and if the Foundation ever decides they need to disappear, we know exactly what they'll wear. If you enjoyed this technical breakdown of the SCP-5000 suit, hit that subscribe button. We have a file on the blinkers coming up next that you won't want to miss. This is 2AM Archives. Secure, contain, protect.